at Sunset by Madison Cawein. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. Into the sunset's turquoise marge the moon dips like a pearly barge. Enchantment sails through magic seas to fairyland Hesperides. Over the hills and away into the fields in ghost-gray gown the young-eyed dusk comes slowly down. Her apron filled with stars she stands, and one or two slip from her hands. Over the hills and away. Above the wood's black cauldron bends the witch-faced night, and muttering blends the dew and heat whose bubbles make the mist and musk that haunt the brake. Over the hills and away. Oh, come with me, and let us go beyond the sunset lying low, beyond the twilight and the night, into love's kingdom of long light. Over the hills and away. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Dead and Gone. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Lawley. Dead and gone. Can you tell me how he rests? Flowers growing, or him there? Here's a right warm heart, my sweets, so cover it with care. Can you tell me how he lies such nights out in the cold? O cricket, with your plaintive call, O glowworm, with your gold? If my eyes are sorrowful, well may they weep, I trow, since his dead eyes gazed into them, they have been sad enow. If my heart make moan and ache, well may it break, I'm sure, for his dead love is more, ah me, more than it can endure. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
One Night by Madison Cawein. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonali. A night of rain. The wind is out, and I had wished it otherwise. A calm, still night, no scudding skies, or, in the scud, above the rout, the moon, by whose pale light my eyes might meet her eyes, the smile that tries to come but will not, lips that pout with seeming anger, all surmise. When I have said, I love your lies, lips I shall kiss before she dies. What force this wind has, as it runs around each unprotecting tree! It seems some beast, and now I see its form, its eyes, a woman's once, dark eyes, that blaze as lionly as some bayed beasts, that will not flee, the pine not sand derides the guns. Or is it but the thought in me, the thought of that which is to be, the deed that rises shadowy? And now the trees and whipping rain confuse them. I must drive it hence. The memory of her eyes, the tense, wild look within them of hard pain. Yet she must die, with every sense strung to beholding knowledge, whence my heart shall be made whole again. Here I will wait where night is dense. Soon she will come, like innocence, thinking her youth is her defense. And when she leaves, and none perceives, the old grey manor, where the 8 old locusts, twisted shadows, freight with mossy murmurings its eaves, one moment at the iron gate she'll tarry, then, with breath abate, come rustling through the autumn leaves. And I will take both hands and set my mouth on hers and say, "You were late." She will laugh to hear I had to wait. O passion of past vows, revive imagination and renew the ardor of love's language. You, for love's rose altar kept alive, repeat the oaths that rang with dew and starlight. Tell her she is true as beautiful. I will contrive to make her think I have no clue to all her falseness. I will woo as once I wooed before I knew. And we will walk against the wind, the shuffling leaves about our feet, our ruin as the woods complete, because one woman so hath sinned and never suffered. She shall meet no murder in my eyes, no heat of fate in holding hand that's bent to hers, to make her trust to beat. I will kiss her hand, her hair, like weed of affluent summer, saying, "Sweet." And should I bungle in this thing, this purpose that must see her dead, to cure this fever in my head, what other thing is there to bring soul satisfaction, when is shed no real blood, save what makes red the bogged intention? I will fling the mask aside, but hate hath led desire too far now to be fed with failure I have not to dread. When we have reached the precipice that thwarts the battling of the sea, and wallows out great rocks that knee the giant foam with roar and hiss, I will not cease to coax and be the anxious lover, trusting she will not suspect my farewell kiss, until it turns a curse, and we sway for an instant totteringly, and she has shrieked some prayer at me. Oh, let me see wild terror there upon her face, the wilder frown of crime's appraisal, and renown of my life's injury, that bear this horror with its bloody crown. No pity, God, for if a gown, suspending looseness of her hair, delay the plunge, the night is brown, my heel must crush her white face down, in hell and heaven see her drown. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Parting by Madison Cawein. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. She passed the thorn trees, whose gaunt branches tossed their spider shadows round her, and the breeze beneath the ashen moon was full of frost, and mouthed and mumbled in the sickly trees like some starved hag who sees her children freeze. Dry-eyed she waited by the sycamore. Some stars made misty blotches in the sky, and all the wretched willows on the shore looked faded as a jaundiced cheek or eye. She felt deep sorrow, yet could only sigh. She heard his skiff grind on the river rocks. Whistling, he came into the shadow made by the great tree. He kissed her on her locks, and round her form his eager arms were laid. Passive she stood, her purpose unbetrayed. And then she spoke, while still his greeting kiss stung in her hair. She did not dare to lift her face to his, her anguished eyes to his, while tears smote crystal in her throat. One rift of weakness humored might set all adrift. Anger and shame were his. She meekly heard, and then the oarlocks sounded, and her brain remembered he had said no farewell word, and swift emotion swept her, and again left her, as silent as a carven pane. She, in the old sad farmhouse, wearily resumed the drudgery of her common lot, regret remembering. Midst old vices, he, who would have trod on and somehow did not, the wildflower that had brushed his feet, forgot. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Daughter of the Snow by Madison Cawein. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Mapstone. Though the panther's footprints show, and the wild cat's in the snow, you will never find a trace of the footsteps of a certain maiden with a paler face than the drifts that fill and curtain hillside, valley, and the wood, where the hunter's wigwam stood in the winter's solitude. What white beast hath grown the fur for the whiter limbs of her? Raiment of the frost and ice, to her subtle beauty fitting. Wampum strouds as white as rice, of the frost's fantastic knitting, wrap her form and face complete, glove her hands with ice, her feet moccasin with beaded sleet. Though he knew she made a haunt of the dell, it did not daunt, where the hoarfrost mailed each tree in soft phantom alabaster, and hung ghosts of bud and bee on each autumn withered aster. By the frozen waterfall, there she stood beneath its wall, in the ice-sheathed chaparral, where the wild beech tree and the larch built a white triumphal arch for the winter marching down with his icy armoured leaders, where each hemlock had a crown and pale diadems the cedars, where the long icicles shone, there he saw her standing lone like a mist wraith turned to stone. And she led him many a mile with her hand wave and her smile, and the printless swiftness of feet of frost and snowy flutter of her raiment, now above, now below the boughs of utter winter whiteness, led him on till the dawn and day were gone, and the evening star hung wan. Hunters found him dead, they tell, in the winter-wasted dell, with his quiver and his bow, where the cascade ran a rafter, white of crystal and of snow, where he listened to her laughter, promises that were as far as the secrets of a star, and her love that naught could mar. And her countenance is this, stamped on his, and this her kiss, haunting still his mouth and eyes, colder than the cold December. This her passion that defies all control the stars remember, filled him, killed him, this is she, clinging to him neck and knee, where his limbs sank wearily. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Spirit of the Star by Madison Cawein. Read for LibriVox.org by Adrian Stevens. The spirit of the star, love spiritual. This union of the human soul with the divine ethereal substance of the universe is the ancient doctrine of Pythagoras and Plato, divine legation. There is love for love. The heaven teems with possibilities, and when love is purely given, love returns from where none sees, and such love becomes a ladder reaching heavenward from the sadder night of earth, from out the driven darkness of its miseries. There is love for love, and beauty from her star above the earth smiles, and straight each cloud of sooty night takes on celestial worth, and like some white flower unfolding, love is born, and softly holding up its face as if in duty, grows to that which gave it birth. Earth and heaven are prolific of love's wonders, and the sky teems with spirits fair, terrific, who, if loved, shall never die. Demons, haggard as their mountains, naiads sparkling as their fountains, sylphids of the winds, pacific as the stars they tremble by. Such was I, who long had waited for the everlasting sleep, where around me worlds dilated, waned or waxed within the deep, where beneath my star a planet whirled and shone like glowing granite, while around it ne'er abated one white satellite its sweep. I was sad, my beauty wearied, useless as a scentless bud, fading ere it blooms. The serried mists of worlds as red as blood streamed beneath me, and the starry firmament above bent, barry within the wild auroras, ferried of the meteor's sisterhood. I was loveless with yearning after love that never came, all my astral being burning towards that world without a name, world I knew not, till, with splendour of compulsion that was tender, something drew me unreturning, filled me with a finer flame. So I left my star, whose lances pierced with arrowy gold the heat of heaven's hyacinth. Its glances saddened me. No more to meet, then I left my star, and beating downward heard it still repeating far farewells, and through the trances of dark space its face looked sweet. Past your moon, a melancholy disk at first, then vast and sharp, lo, a world all white and holy, where upon the crystal scarp of a mountain, like a story of high heaven, revealed in glory, gradual, as if music slowly built it, rolling from a harp, rose a city, cloudy nacre, were its walls that towered round, acre upon arch piled, acre of marble terraced ground. Caryatids alternated with Atlantes, sculpture waited, and its gates, some god the maker, rhombs of symboled diamond. In the white light glittered swimming, domes of dazzles swirl on swirl, temples lifted columns brimming, crystal flame that seemed to whirl. Battlemented moonstone darkled, palaces pale pillared sparkled, cloudy opal, and far dimming aqueducts of ghostly pearl. Streaming steeples shone, of daedal emblem, each an obelisk, minarets, each one a needle, balancing a bubble disk, some of diamond like a blister, frozen, some of topaz glister vinous, in whose blinding middle blazed an orb of burning bisque. And I saw where, silvery slanted, a vast pyramidic heap rose of spar, whereon was planted the Acropolis of Sleep. God of these, that looming higher, wrought of seeming ice and fire, where pale rainbow colours panted, gleamed above the lunar deep. Robed in white simar and chiton, visions filled its every square, moving like a finer light on light, and in the glory there music rang and golden laughter, and before each shape and after radiance went, and shadowed white on temple and on palace stair. So they called me, I descended earthward, for great longing drew me, and drawing me was blended with your world. I never knew it was earth, until, forsaking heaven, I beheld it taking a great azure sphere, its splendid way along the singing blue. And when night came, here, above you, sleeping by your folded sheep on the hills, I stooped, whereof you dreamed, I kissed you in your sleep, I, your destiny, who wrought it, so you knew me, you who thought it not so strange that I should love you, I, a spirit of the deep. 'Twas your love that sought and found me, drew me from that star life sad, won my soul to yours and bound me with such love as none hath had. I am she, you may remember, that fair star that seemed an ember o'er you that you loved. Around me wrap your arms now and be glad. Look above, what seems a petal burning of a rose, that far point of radiance bright as metal, fiery silver, is your star. Look above you, rise into it. Let it lead you now who drew it down to earth, where shadows settle. On that star no shadows are. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Spirit of the Van by Madison Cawein, read for LibriVox.org by Adrian Stevens. Quote, Among the mountains of Carmarthen lies a beautiful and romantic piece of water named the Van Pools. Tradition relates that after midnight on New Year's Eve there appears on this lake a being named the Spirit of the Van. She is dressed in a white robe bound by a gold girdle. Her hair is long and golden. Her face is pale and melancholy. End quote. Keithley's Fairy Mythology. Midsummer night, the Van. Through the night's one noon, wading the storm scud of an eve of storm, pale o'er Carmarthen's peaks the mounting moon, wilds of Carmarthen, sombre heights, that swam girdling this water, as old giants might, crouch, guarding some enchanted gem of charm. Wilds of Carmarthen, that for me each night re-echo prayers and pleadings, all the year unanswered, made to listening waters white. Mountains, behold me yet again, bend near, behold her lover, hers that shape of snow, who dwells amid these pools, who will not hear my heart's wild pleading, calling loud, now low, unhappy to her amid the lonely hills. Whene'er a ripple trembles into glow, where yeasty moonshine scuds the foam, straight thrills heart's expectation through my veins, and high with she each pulse the exaltation fills. But she 'tis never. Once, and then would I have perished, so beholding. World, 'twas you, O world, who would not let me die. Once I beheld her. If some fiend had curled stiff talons in my hair, and twisting tight had raised me height, then into hell had hurled, fresh from that vision of her beauty white, with heaven in my soul, I unamazed, shackled with tortures, yet might mock hell's spite. Immortal memory, quench in me this thirst, O starlight vision, that a moment clove my sight, and then for ever left me cursed. Oh, make me mad with love, with all thy love, me who seek thee mid these wilds, when gloom storms or drip gold the Sibylline stars above. Let thy high coming in a flash consume the light of all the stars, and make me mad, mad with love's madness, fill me with sweet doom. Sleep will I not now, for my soul is sad, for should I sleep there might come other dreams, sadder than thou art, in thy beauty clad and all thy tyranny. To me it seems better to wake here underneath this pine, until my face upon my vision gleams, thou who art wrought of elements divine, and I of crasser clay, clay that will think, since I am hers, why should she not be mine? Again, its usual phantom on the brink of thy lone lake, I ask thee, must I yearn for ever haunted of that vision's wink? when, glassing out great circles which did earn some intense essence of interior light, as clouds that clothe the moon unbinding burn, riven erupt her orb triumphant white, I saw, midmost the van, a feathering fire, dilating ivory wan, expectant night tiptoed attentive, fearful to suspire, wherefore arose that white divinity, what God had sensed with glory and desire, born for the moment for the eyes of me, then reabsorbed into the brassy gloom of whispering waves that sighed their ecstasy. Thou, in whose path harmonious colours bloom, pale pearl and lilac, asphodel and rose, like many flowers auroral of perfume, thou left'st me thus, to marvel as who knows he is not dead, and yet it seems he is, since all his soul with spirit rapture glows. O sylph-like brow, lips like an angel's kiss, high immortality, whose face was such as starlight in a lily's loveliness. The gold that bound thee seemed too base to clutch thy chastity, though clear as golden gum, that almug's sweat and fragrance to the touch. Thy hair, not hair, seemed rays, like those that come strained through the bubble of chrysolite. No word I said, thy beauty struck me dumb. Thy face that is upon my soul's quick sight, eternal seared, have made of me a shade, a wandering shadow of the day and night, a seeker mid the hoary hills for aid, the sole society of my sick heart, who shuns all companionship of man and maid, who, comrade of the mountain blossoms blue, and intimate of old trees, goes dreaming they, as in that legendary world they drew oracles from lips in oaks, may sometimes say prophetic precepts to it, how were one a spirit loved to love a mortal, yea, in vain. But one day, frog-like in the sun, beside a cave the nightshade vines made rank, and hairy henbane, where huge spiders spun, wrinkled as magic, I, a grizzled, lank, squat something startled naught save skin and hair, with eyes wherein dwelt demons, flames that shrank and grew, familiars who fixed me with glare, as rising claw-like hands then I drew near. Frog-like, he croaked, "Thou fool, go seek her there, woo her with thy heart's actions, making clear thy soul's white passage for her coming feet. In, thou fool, plunge in, fear naught but fear." Yet I have waited many weeks, repeat acts of the heart with passionate offering, of love whose anguish makes it 7 times sweet. Still all in vain, in vain. Tonight I bring myself alone, my soul unfearing. See, my soul unto thee. Shall the clay still cling, clogging fulfilment, and achievement be bulked still by flesh? No, let me in to die. Haply, for a moment's mystery, gaze in thine eyes, one splendid instant lie in thy white arms and bosom, and thy kiss, my elemental immortality. Part of thy breathing waves to laugh or hiss in foam, or winds that rock the awful deeps, or build with song vast temples for thy bliss, wherein responsive as thy white hand sweeps the chords of some sad shell, I'll dream and roam through glaucous chambers where the green day sleeps, dead, not with death. What secrets hath thy home? Not mine, then, epoch'd in exultant foam? Deeper, down deeper, yea, at last I come. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Caverns of Kaf by Madison Cawein. read for LibriVox.org by Adrian Stevens. Quote, "Where am I?" cried he. "What are these dreadful rocks, these valleys of darkness? Are we arrived at the horrible Kaf?" End quote. Vathek. One Benredin, I have heard, near the town of Mosul sleeping, in a dream beheld a bird, wonderful with plumes of sweeping whiteness, crowned pomegranate red, and it seemed his soul it led, brilliant as a blossom, keeping near the Tigris as it fled. Following, at last he came to a haggard valley, shouldered under peaks that had no name, where it vanished, mid the bouldered savageness, a woman, fair, in white simar, stood there, auburn-haired, around whom smouldered pensive lights of purple air. And she led him down to vast caves of sardonyx, whose ceiling domed one chrysoberyl, blast on blast of music, stealing out of aural atmospheres, beat like surf upon his ears, then receded, faintly pealing psalteries and dulcimers. Living figures seemed to heave high the walls where, wild embattled, warred Amshaspand and the Div. Over all two splendours rattled arms of heaven, arms of hell, forms of flame that seemed to swell godlike, Ahriman who battled with Ormuzd he could not quell. There she left him wondering, till the reverberant music, drifting strong beyond his utmost will, drew him onward where, high lifting pillar and entablature vast with emblem, yawned a door, valves of liquid lightning shifting in and out, up and o'er. Through the door he swept, deep-domed, green with serpentine and beryl, loomed a cavern crusted, foamed, tortuous with gems of peril, difficult a colonnade, seemed of satin spar to braid deeps of labyrinthed and sterile tiger spar that twisting rayed. Dizzy stones of magic price, crammed volute and loaded corbel, iridescent shafts of ice leapt with long re-echoed warble, waters unto waters sang, crystal arc and column sprang into fire as each marble fountain flung its foam that rang. And around him, filled with sound, streams of resonant colours jetted, rainbow surf that interwound, crypts and arcades crescent fretted, mists of citron and of rune, lemon lights that mocked the moon, shot with scarlet veined and netted, beating golden hearts of tune. Suns arose a blinding blue, moons of green dilating splendour, in whose centres slowly grew spots like serpents' eyes that, slender, glared at first prismatic beams, then intolerable gleams, hissing trails of fire, tender as an houri's breath that dreams. Characters of Arabic, cabalistic red as coral, flashed through violet veils so quick none might read, as if in quarrel Iran wrote of Turan there, hate and scorn, or everywhere wrought some talisman of moral strength no Afrit's heart would dare. Sounding splendours drew him on to another cavern, hollow, hewn of alabaster wan, lucid, where his gaze could follow caves in caves, transparent flights rolling lost in moving lights, glaucous gold, he like a swallow o'er a lake the morning smites. Down the dome flashed out and in, instant faces of the Paris, restless eyes of Dives and Jinn in the walls watched, unseen fairies, out of rainbows rained and tossed flowers of fire full of frost, blossoms where the fire varies, gold and green and crimson mossed. Then there met him face to face 7 odalisques of heaven, swinging in a silver space, flaming censers, and the 7 crowned with stars of burning green seemed to turn to incense, seen as it rose to be a driven hippogriff or rosemarine. Aloes, nard, and ambergris, sandal, frankincense, and civet, genii of the fragrances, rain each winged aroma, give it spurs and race it down the lull of the caverns, clouded dull with wild manes of musk, now vivid, vaporous white and wonderful. And Benredin's aching soul, in each sense intoxicated, reached at last what seemed the goal of all passion, golden-gated, vast, a fountain where he saw limbs of light without a flaw, breasts and arms of bloom that waited for his soul to nearer draw. Loughry faces shimmered there, fluid forms, it, with a thunder of wild music like the hair of a genie, flamed from under caverns of the demon world. Filled with voices, high it hurled, calling him with beckoning wonder of cerulean forms that swirled. And with burning lips and eyes in he plunged. Hoarse laughter greeted demon laughter, then sad sighs, dying downward, passion heated, hands seemed drawing him away, downward where a rocking ray flamed and swung, and eblis-sheeted shadows wandered ghostly grey. And 'tis said that he was young that morning, when the darting anguish-throated bulbuls sang, in the silent starlight starting, one, a Baghdad merchant, led by the hoarness of its head, found what seemed a mummy, parting hair from brow, Benredin, dead. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Salamander by Madison Cawein, read for LibriVox.org by Adrian Stevens. Quote, the fire philosophers and the Rosicrucians, or Illuminati, taught that all knowable things, both of the soul and of the body, were evolved out of fire, and finally resolvable into it, and that fire was the last and the only to be known God, as that all things were capable of being searched down into it, and all things were capable of being thought up into it. End quote. The Rosicrucians. Once she breathed upon my eyes, touched the soul that dreamed within me, all the magic that might win me, whispered to my heart with sighs, darkness cannot make them lies. Bring me, moly, hellebore, mix them for my soul's nepenthe, for my spirit's dread amenti, for the curse that comes once more with unutterable law. Starlight, starlight or the moon, stormlight, firelight, or the sheening witchlight, intimate, no meaning, of her glory's plenilune, of her soul's unriddled rune. And most awful beauty, nor actual, nor yet ideal, insubstantial, and yet real, partly flame and partly star, yet no part of what these are. I am hers, and woe is mine. Has she drugged me with the sadness of some elemental madness? Like a demigod I pine twixt the mortal and divine. When I see her, lo, she stands in the luminous elector of a star, a smiling spectre with white scintillating hands, luring to unhallowed lands. Then behold, in fearful file, a mirage of tower and terrace, lawn and mountain range, that buries flame in frost, looms, mile on mile, of her crescent glowing isle, where the lurid waters lull, shores that roll the rainbow fire, where with living lute and lyre, rose-red swiftly as a gull, glides her star-like galley's hull. And behold, before I know, I am where her walls of amber, towers of limpid ruby, clamber o'er terraces below, summits of refulgent snow. Lambent lazuli and shell colonnade her courts of marble, where of lightning fountains warble out of basined pearl, or well into hollowed carbuncle. Rosy silver seems her skin, and a flame her arm commanding, with its gleaming hand, me standing at her gates to enter in, burning as a seraphim. Lucid darkness are her eyes, where the frozen fire smoulders, and upon her shining shoulders like a tangible glitter lies auburn hair like sunset skies. Mouth of sibilant soft flame, lilith lips whose roses lighten with elusive love and brighten with wild passion, and the name of desire no man may tame. Passion, and the thoughts that wed love and loathing, such caresses of sweet touch as naught expresses here on earth, yet full of dread, madness, whereof death is bred. She hath drawn me to her lips, borne me through her palace portal, and the fire which is immortal from me like a garment slips. Ah, the spirit parts eclipse. As when the moon and planets swoon, unto each my body kindles, strangely while my spirit dwindles, like the earth o'ershadowed moon, darkening from loon to loon. Then she laughs, and leads me where cloudy wild chameleon colour marble halls with hues, the duller for her astral presence there, beaming white with beaming hair, where in roses purple pale, dropping like a ruby bubble through the moondust, double, double throbs the crimson nightingale. There she lures me with some tale. Or to where the scarlet snake coils beneath great flaming flowers, where the musk mimosa bowers roll their rosy clouds and make sunset heavens of each lake, where the bees and moths go by, fiery diamond, opal burning, butterflies and iris turning, peacock-painted birds that vie with the flowers like fragments fly of wild rainbow, where in rills down the rocks that lichens redden, constellated moss and leaden fungus glow, and o'er the hills as with flames the orchid fills. Where in coruscating light glare the golden checkered zinnias, and the bugle-bloomed gloxinias, making morning of each height, float like mists of ruby white. There, beneath some blazing vine, where the liquid moonlight glitters, of a river coral litters red with grail, like prisms in wine I have watched the fishes shine. Or, o'er sunset-coloured moss, glowworms trail their barrels, sprinkling green the smouldering shade, while, twinkling with convulsive sapphire gloss, fireflies rained blue lights across. Where the reeds seemed rays of rose, and white mirrored moons, the lotus, each a spirit giving notice of the inner light that glows, where the underwater flows. Shapes arose of flashing spray, where a wild auroral splendour rolled the forest emerald tender as the light of breaking day beckoned forms of starry ray. Through the violetish light, winged with nautilus and lily, flame, adown the forest's stilly vistas, moony whirls of white, floated shapes with eyes of night. I must follow where she leads, blinding portals of her castle, to my entering feet are facile. Love no terrible trumpet needs at her gates to bugle deeds. Lo, my being never veils aught from her. To her caresses all my heart knows, it confesses, with a faith that never fails, though it hears the truth that wails in its soul's admonishment, of the curse that sits in session in each amorous expression of her love, its violent flame by which my life is rent. I have drained the feverish cup of all darkness, made a leman of an elemental demon, and my soul lies staring up, draining poison at each sup. While she smiles on me, 'tis well. I shall follow, though she make me what herself is. Never wake me from the dream I cannot tell, that is neither heaven nor hell. Where I drink mesmeric gold of wild vision, that romances in informing protean fancies, with a beauty never old, and emotion never cold. Let me drink, and never wake, from the trances that environ me, and 'neath the subtle siren see the demon, like a snake, with destroying eyes that ache, while the slow, laconic look of her eyes express no censure. Gazing in them, I adventure, far beyond the wisest book, ways her serpent fancy took. Yet I know I reverence one whose gaze, in God's negation, one who, like an emanation of all evil, chains my sense with satanic influence. Yet, while still I hear her say, one more kiss before the morning, one more bliss for love's adorning, one more kiss ere break of day, still my soul with her must stay. Stay, nor know, nor ever see, till her basilic beauty flashes, and the curse from out the ashes of her passion fiery strikes, destroying utterly. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Lyanna by Madison Cawein. Read for LibriVox.org by Adrian Stevens. Quote, these elementary beings, we are told, were by their constitution more long-lived than man, but with this essential disadvantage that at death they wholly ceased to exist. In the meantime, they were inspired with an earnest desire for immortality, and there was one way left for them by which this desire might be gratified. If they were so happy as to awaken in any of the initiated Rosicrucians a passion, the end of which was marriage, then the sylph became immortal. End quote. Godwin's Lives of the Necromancers. Summer came over the Indian Ocean, girdled with fire, tiara'd with light. Her eyes all languor, her lips a potion to quaff of poppy, and gold and white she flashed and sparkled, or gleam and motion, or blush and blossom she came, and I of the race of the sylphs, or the Indian Ocean, followed her through the sky. Self-exiled so from the sylphs that cluster, pulsing with pearl and burning with blue, in domes of the dawn where the organs bluster, low of the winds where they glow like dew, as the day dreams up and their armies muster, ranges of glitter in cloudy gold, at the gates of the dawn of blinding lustre, to forth where her gates unfold. For summer murmured me, follow, follow, whispered one word that was all of love. Winged with the speed of the sweeping swallow, I followed the word she had breathed above. Follow, follow! The god Apollo never followed, with speed as strong, the flying nymph through holt and hollow, as I that word of song. Fleet as the winds are fleet, yea, and fleeter far than the stars that throb like foam through the firmament's blue, in musical metre winnowed my wings, and the golden gloam rang, and life was a passion, completer than a life in Eden, and love, a lyre that sang in my heart and made life sweeter with hope, a leaping fire. Thus to the north my wings went maying, radiant ways till a castle shone, gaunt on great cliffs with the late skies greying, o'er walls of war and their towers lone, with tortuous steps to the sea, where sprang thundered the breakers and terrace and stair, rock o'er the waters, rose rosy and raying, deep in the sunset's glare. A dewdrop burns when the dawn lights prickle, and all my being tingled with light, bloomed when I saw her tarrying fickle, white on the castled height. Slender she shone as the moon in sickle, the slim new moon like a pearl-pale streak, and golden too as the honey trickle of combs where the wax is weak. In dreams I came to her, lo, as a vision, yea, by her side as a dream I stood. To her innermost spirit I sighed my mission in the vestal ear of her maidenhood. and she deemed me a dream, and I made a prison of my arms for my soul, while she, smiling, slept. Her body lay still, but her soul had arisen, and looked on my face, and wept. Lyanna, I hoop thee with arms of fire. My words were music, a harp afloat. Lyanna, my heart is a vibrant wire. Thy love is its only note. Let it sing forever, let it sound entire, full as the angels who hover and harp to the glory that's God, like a golden lyre, born in a beam that is sharp. Behold me, thy rose, full of flame and splendour, thy rose to pluck, thy ruby bloom, thy sylphid rose with eyes that are tender, lips that are fire, and limbs of perfume, and fragrant fire, thy heart's defender, thy airy lover. And, bending above, sweeter my speech than a flower's that slender tells to the stars its love. Lo, as I spoke, with thoughts that thicken, her heart seemed filled, and she spoke, but sleep shadowed her words, till my kiss did quicken, and free like stars from the night that leap. Long have I waited, and long did sicken to clasp thee thus, O rose of love. Oft have I dreamed of thee, yea, and was stricken with joy at the thought thereof. Whiter the clouds, but I saw thee whiter, mid dazzling domes of the dawn, and knew, though brighter God's stars, that thine eyes were brighter, brighter and burning blue. My heart was thine, though it held thee slighter than hues that the mists of the morning take, and waited and yearned, and the yearning tighter than tears in the hearts that break. Lyanna, Lyanna, I heard thee ever calling, Lyanna, a ripple of flame, Lyanna, Lyanna, like song forever, and I marvelled at my name. The sound was such that if stars could sever and silver syllable a word of beams, so would it sound. I turned, but never beheld thee, only in dreams. Thou walkest a beauty afar, a glitter of gleaming aroma, and I with moan reached thee my arms, but thy gaze was bitter, calmer and sterner than stone. Avoiding thou passest in scorn, a sitter I seemed on the utmost bounds of bliss, when lo, on the wind, a flame, a flitter of fire, thy laugh and thy kiss. And I had won her love, and behold, the thunder trumpeted earnest. I heard the seas lunge at the walls like a roaring wonder, and the rain winds sing in the trees, Lyanna, my bride. And the heavens asunder rushed, chasms of glaring storm, where poured the thunder's cataracts, rolling under, and showed me, horde on horde, the shouting spirits of storm. The portal of sleep was riven. She rose and saw, and I said to her soul, of the utterly mortal, mine the eternal lot and law. I love thee, she answered, and I, immortal am I through thy love. And so we fled. Behold, when they came in the morn, a startle, men whispered, Lyanna is dead. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
(110) The Spirits of Light and Darkness by Madison Cawein. Read for LibriVox.org by Carol H. Cox. Voices of Darkness. Ere the birth of death and of time, and of hell with its tears and its torments, ere the waves of heat and of rime, and the winds to the heavens were as garments, cloud-like in the womb of space, mist-like from her monster womb, We sprang a myriad race of thunder and tempest and gloom. Voices of light. As from the evil good springs and desire, as the white lily's hood buds from the mire, so from this midnight brood sprang we with fire. Voices of darkness. We had lain for long ages asleep in her bosom, a bulk of torpor, when down through the vasts of the deep clove a sound like the notes of a harper. Clove a sound, and the horrors grew, tumultuous with turbulent night, with whirlwinds of blackness that blew, and storm that was godly in might. And the walls of our dungeon were shattered like the crust of a fire-wrecked world, as torrents of clouds that are scattered. From the womb of the deep we were hurled. Voices of light. Us in unholy thought, patiently lying, eons of violence wrought, violence defying, when on a mighty wind, voiced of a godly mind, big with a motive kind, girdled with wonder, flame and a strength of song, rolling vast light along, thundered the word, and wrong vanished, and we were strong, strong as thunder. Voices of darkness. We people the lower spaces, where our cities of silence make scorn of the sun, and our shadowy faces are safe from the splendors of morn. Our homes are wrecked worlds, and each planet, whose sun is a light that is sped, bleak moons, whose cold bodies of granite are hollowed and flameless and dead. Voices of light. We in the living sun live like a passion, ere the sad earth begun. We and the sun were one, as God did fashion. Lo, from our burning hands, flung like inspired brands, sowed we the worlds like sands, countless as ocean. And 'tis our breath gives life, life to those stars all rife with iridescent strife, music and motion. Voices of darkness. We joy in the hate of all mortals, inspire their crimes and the thought that falters and halts at the portals of actions, intentions unwrought. We cover the face of tomorrow, we frown in the hours that be, we breathe in the presence of sorrow, and death and destruction are we. Voices of light. We are man's hope and ease, joy and his pleasure, authors of love and peace, love that shall never cease, free as the azure. Lo, we but look, and light heartens the world with might, vanquishes death and night, hate and its burning, and from our bosoms stream beauty and yearning for a diviner dream, higher discernings. Voices of the break of day. Morning and birth are ours, light that is blown from our fair lips and flowers, dropped from our hands in showers, seeds that are sown, song and the bursting buds, life of the fields and floods, strength that's full grown, and from our beryl jars, filled with the clouds and stars, pour we the winds and dew, while by our eyes of blue darkness is rent in two, conquered and strown. Voices of the dawn. Ye in your darkness are dark and infernal, subject to death and mar, but in the spaces far, like our effulgent star, we are eternal. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Water Witch by Madison Cawein. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonali. See, the milk-white doe is wounded. He will follow as it bounds. Through the woods his horn has sounded, echoing for his men and hounds. But no answering bugle blew. He has lost his retinue, for the shapely deer that bounded past him when his bow he drew. Not one hound or huntsman follows. Through the underbrush and moss goes the slot, and in the hollows of the hills that he must cross, he has lost it. He must fare over rocks where she-wolves lair, wood pools where the wild boar wallows, so he leaves his hunter there. Through his mind then flashed an olden legend told him by the monks of a girl whose hair is golden, haunting fountains and the trunks of the woodlands, who, they say, is a white doe all the day, but when woods are night enfolden, turns into an evil fate. Then the story once his teacher told him of a mountain lake demons dwell in, vague of feature, human-like, but each a snake. She is queen of, did he hear, laughter at his startled ear? Or a bird, and now what creature is it, or the wind stirs near? Fever of the hunt, this water, falling here will cool his head. Through the forest, dyed in slaughter, slants the sunset, ruby red. Are the drops that slip between hollowed hands while on the green, like the couch of some wild daughter of the forest, he doth lean. But the runnel, bubbling, dripping, seems to bid him to be gone, as with crystal words and tripping steps of sparkle luring on. Now a spirit in the rocks calls him, now a face that mocks. From behind some boulder slipping, laughs at him through lilied locks. And he follows through the flowers, blue and gold, that blossom there, threading twilight-haunted bowers, where each ripple seems the bare beauty of white limbs that gleam, rosy through the running stream, or bright shaken hair that showers starlight in the sunset's beam. Till, far in the forest, sleeping, like a luminous darkness lay, a deep water, wherein, leaping, fell the fountain of the Fae, with a singing, sighing sound, as of spirit things around, musically laughing, weeping, in the air and underground. Not a ripple over it merried, like the round moon in a cloud. In its rocks the lake lay buried, and strange creatures seemed to crowd. Its dark depths, dim limbs and eyes, to the surface seemed to rise, spawn-like or all formless ferried through the water shadow-wise. Foliage things with woman faces, demon dreadful, pale and wild, as the forms the lightning traces on the clouds the storm has piled. In the darkness, on the strand, what is that which now doth stand? 'Tis a woman, and she places on his arm a spray-white hand. Ah, to mystic worlds of sorrow, where her eyes, her hair, a place whence the moon its gold might borrow, and a dream of ice her face. Round her hair and throat in rims, pearls of foam hung, and through whims of her robe as breaks the morrow, gleamed the rose-light of her limbs. Who could help but gaze with gladness on such beauty, though within, deep within the beryl sadness, Of those eyes the serpent sin seemed to coil, she placed her cheek chilly upon his, and weak with love longing and its madness grew he, then he heard her speak. Dost thou love me? If surrender of the soul means love, I love. Dost not fear me? Fear? More slender art thou than a wildwood dove. Yet I fear to lose thee, thy love, and thou dost choose I to be my heart's defender. Take me, I am thine to use. Follow then, ah love no lowly, home I give thee with fixed eyes. To the water's edge she slowly drew him, nor did he surmise who this creature was, until o'er his face the foam closed chill, whispering, and the lake unholy rippled, and was still. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Succuba by Madison Cawein. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. I have dreams where I believe that a queen of some dim palace, one whose name is Genevieve, weighs me with her love or malice. She is dead and yet my bride, and she glimmers at my side, offering a crystal chalice filled with fire, diamond dyed. I have dreams, ah, would that I might forget them. I remember how her gaze, all icily, draws me like a glowing ember up her castle stairs, pale paved, alabaster, from the waved ocean, grayer than November, where I linger, soul enslaved. Walls of shadow and of night, lit with casements full of fire, sombre red or piercing white, as the wind breathes lower, higher, round the towers spirit things whisper, and the haunted strings moan of each huge plangent lyre, set upon its four chief wings. In its corridors at tryst, flame-eyed phantoms meet. Its sparry halls are misty amethyst, battlemented, 'neath the starry skies it looms, the strange unknown skies, where green as glowworms sown, gloom the stars, the moon hangs barry, beryl, low and large and lone. Can it be a witch is she, or a vampire, she far whiter than the spirits of the sea? She whose eyes are cold yet brighter than her throat's pale jewels, lo, flame she is, though seeming snow, and her love lies tighter, tighter on my heart than utter woe. Though I dream, it seems I live, and my heart is sick with sorrow of the love that it must give to her, passion it must borrow of herself unhallowed, vain, then return it her again. Thus she holds me, and tomorrow still will hold with sweetest pain. In her garden's moon-white space strangest flowers bloom, huge lilies, each one with a human face, knots of spirit amaryllis, cactus bulks with pulpy blooms, gnome-like in the silver glooms, and dim deeps of daffodillies, fay-like, brimming faint perfumes. But to me their fragrance seems poison, and their lambent lustre spun of twilight and of dreams. Poison, and each pearly cluster hides a serpent's fang. And I, looking from an oriel, sigh, for my soul is fain to muster heart to breathe of them and die. Then I feel big eyes as bright as the sea stars, grey with glitter. She behind me, moony white, smiles mid hangings wherein flitter loves and deeds of Amadis, darkly worked, and then her kiss on my mouth falls, sweet and bitter, with a bliss that is not bliss. And I kiss her eyes and hair, smooth her tresses, till their golden glimmer sparkles everywhere. Shapes of strange aromas, holden of the walls, around us troop, and in golden loop on loop of the lulled eyes vague beholden, forms of music o'er us stoop. Yet I see beneath it all this sorcery, a devil, beautiful and white and tall, broods with shadowy eyes of evil. She who must resume with morn her true shape, a cactus thorn, monstrous on some lonely level of that demon world forlorn. I have dreams where I believe that a queen of some dim palace, one whose name is Genevieve, weighs me with her love or malice, and all night I am her slave, there beside the demon wave, where I drain the loathsome chalice of her love that is my grave.
End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Masks by Madison Cawein. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonali. Cuculus non facit munacho. Live it down, as you have spoken. You could live it ere you knew what love was. A bauble broken, foolish, of a thing untrue. You, Viola, with your beauty, cloistered, die a nun? No, you must wed. It is your duty. There's your poniard. For the second in the stars are dropped, the blood on it scarcely hard. I reckoned happily that hour we stood there upon your palace stairway. How, with the Franciscan hood cowled, I said there was a bare way. In the minster there I found it, our revenge. I saw him, wild, stalking towards the church. Around it, dogged him, marking how he smiled in the moonlight where I waited. When the great clock, beating, dialed 10, I knew he would be mated. Heaven or my better devil, hardly had his warden plume vanished in the dark, when, level on the long lagoon, did loom, under moonlight woven arches, her slim gondola, all gloom, one tall gondolier, no torches. Dusky gondolas kept bringing revelers, and far the night rang with instruments and singing. From the imbricated light of the old vibrating water, gliding up the stairway, white, velvet masked, the Count's own daughter. Quick I met her, whispered, Flora, Caston, Mea, till they go. One brief moment here, Signora. She will perceive us. She, below. See, the Duchess diamond sparkling round the inviolable glow of her throat. There, dimly darkling. That's Viola. Thus I drew her in the church's ancient pile. Under her black mask I knew her, by her chin, her lips, her smile. Through one marble foliated window fell the moon rays. While all the maskers passed, we waited. I had drawn the dagger, turning called her by her name. Some lie of her passion's side, her burning hand in mine, when stalking by, in the square, his form bejeweled, gleamed. My very blood burned dry with the hate his presence fueled. Our revenge. Up pushing slightly cowl, the mask fell, and revealed Balka. As the poniard whitely flashed, the hollow nave repealed. One long shriek the loft repeated. Swift, I stabbed her thrice. She reeled dead. I thought of you, the heated horror on my hands, and tarried still as silence. Drawn aside on her face the mask hung, married to its camphor pallor, wide eyes with terror, stone. 1 second I regretted, then defied all remorse. Your promise beckoned, and I left her. Love had pointed me this way. I walked the way clear-eyed, and it has anointed us past lovers. Do not say now that you will go and nun it, for this man who scorned you, nay, live to hate him. You have begun it. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Carmen by Madison Cawein. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Mapstone. La Gitanilla, tall dragoons, in Andalusian afternoons, with ogling eye and compliment, smiled on you as along you went some sleepy street of old Seville. Twirled with a military skill, moustaches, buttoned uniforms of Spanish yellow bowed your charms. Proud wicked head and hair blue-black, whence the mantilla half thrown back, discovered shoulders and bold breast, bohemian brown, and you were dressed in some short skirt of gypsy red, of smuggled stuff and stockings, dead white silk, that, worn with many a hole, let the plump leg peep through, while stole, now in now out, your dainty toes, sheathed in morocco shoes with bows of scarlet ribbon. Flirtingly you walked by me, and I did see your oblique eyes, your sensuous lip, that gnawed the rose I saw you flip at bashful Jose's nose, while loud the gaunt guards laughed among the crowd. And in your brazen chemise thrust, heaved with the swelling of your bust, a bunch of white acacia blooms, whiffed past my nostrils hot perfumes. As in a cool Bavaria, I ate an ice with Merry May. Dark Carmencita, very gay, you passed with light and lissom tread, all holiday bedizened. A new mantilla on your head, your crimson dress gleamed, spangled fierce, and crescent gold hung in your ears, shone wrought Morisco, and each shoe of Cordovan leather buckled blue glanced merriment, and from large arms to well-turned ankles all your charms blew flutterings and glitterings of satin bands and beaded strings. Around each tight-armed twisted gold coiled serpents, and a single fold wreathed wrists, each serpent's jewelled head with rubies set, convulsive red. In flowers and trimmings to the jar of mandolin and gay guitar, you in the grated patio danced. The curled coxcomb's staring row rang pleased applause. I saw you dance with wily motion and glad glance, Voluptuous the wild Ramalis, where every movement was a kiss, a song, a poem interwound with your bass tambourine's dull sound. I, as the ebon castanets clucked out dry time in unctuous jets, saw angry Jose through the grate glare on us a pale face of hate, when some indecent officer presumed too lewdly to you there. Some still night in Seville the street, Candeleo, two shadows meet, swift sabres flash within the moon, clash rapidly, a dead dragoon. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. At Nineveh by Madison Cawein. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Mapstone. There was a princess once who loved the slave of an Assyrian king, her father, known at Nineveh as Hadria, o'er whose grave the sands of centuries have long been blown. Yet sooner shall the night forget its stars than love her story, how unto his throne one day she came, where with his warriors the king sat in his hall of audience, mid pillared trophies of barbaric wars, and kneeling to him asked, O Father, whence comes love and why? He smiling on her said, O Hadria, love is of the god, and hence divine is only soul interpreted. But why love is our child we do not know, unless 'tis love that gives us life when dead. And then his daughter with a face aglow, with all the love that clamoured in her blood, its sweet avowal lifted arms of snow, and like Aurora's rose before him stood, saying, Since love is of the powers above, I love a slave, O Ashur. Let the good the gods have given be sanctioned, speak not of dishonour and our line's ancestral dead. They are imperial dust, I live and love. Black as black storm, then rose the king and said, a lightning gesture sweeping at her there, Enough, ho, Rohner, strike me off her head. And at the mandate, with his limbs half bare, a slave strode forth. Majestic was his form, as some young god's. He, gathering up her hair, wound it 3 times around his sinewy arm, then drew his sword. It for one moment shone, a semi-circling light, and, dripping warm, lifting the head he stood before the throne. Then said the despot, By the horn of Bel, this was no child of mine. Like chiselled stone, stern stood the slave, a son of Israel. Then striding towards the monarch, in his eye the wrath of heaven and the hate of hell, shrieked, Beast, I loved her, look on us and die. Swifter than fire clove him to the brain. Then kissed her face, and holding it on high, cried out, Judge thou, O God, between us twain, and 50 daggers in his heart fell slain. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Senorita, read for LibriVox.org by Alan Lawley. Senorita, an agate black, her roguish eyes claim no proud lineage of the skies, no starry blue, but of good earth, the reckless witchery and mirth, looped in her raven hair's repose, a hot aroma, one red rose, droops envious of that loveliness, through being near which its is less. Twin seashells hung with pearls her ears, whose delicate rosiness appears part of the pearls, whose pallid fire binds the attention these inspire. One slim hand crumples up the lace about her bosom's swelling grace. A ruby at her samite throat lends the required colour note. The moon brings up the violent night, an urn of pearly, chaliced light, and from the dark railed balcony she stoops and waves her fan at me. O'er orange blossoms and the rose, vague odorous lips the south wind blows, peopling the night with whispers of romance and palely passionate love. And now she speaks and seems to reach my soul like song that learned its speech from some dim instrument, who knows, or flower, a dulcimer, or rose. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Since Then, read for LibriVox.org by Alan Loughry. Since then, I found myself among the trees, what time the reapers cease to reap, and in the sunflower blooms the bees huddled brown heads and went to sleep, rocked by the balsam breathing breeze. I saw the red fox leave his lair, a shaggy shadow on the knoll, and tunnelling his thoroughfare beneath the soil, I watched the mole. Stealth's own self could not take more care. I heard the death moth tick and stir, slow honeycombing through the bark. I heard the cricket's drowsy cheer, and one lone beetle burr the dark. The sleeping woodland seemed to purr. And then the moon rose, and a white, low bough of blossoms, grown almost where'er you died. 'Twas our delight to tryest, dear heart, I thought your ghost. The wood is haunted since that night. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Section 118, After Death, by Madison Cawein, read for LibriVox.org by Robin Wasserman. After Death. At moonset, when ghost speaks with ghost, and spirits meet where once they sinned, between the whispering wood and coast, my soul met her soul on the wind, my late lost Evelyn. I kissed her mouth, her face was wild, 2 burning shadows were her eyes, wherein the love that once had smiled, a heartbreak smile in some strange wise, I did not recognize. Then suddenly I seemed to see how sin had damned my soul and doomed to wander thus eternally with love and loathing that assumed the form of her entombed. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Old Man Dreams by Madison Cawein. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonali. The blackened walnut in its spicy hull rots where it fell, and in the orchard where the trees stand full, the pear's brown bell drops, and the log house in the bramble lane, from whose low door stretch yellowing acres of the corn and cane, he sees once more. The catbird sings upon its porch of pine, and o'er its gate, all slender podded, twists the trumpet vine its leafy weight. And in the woodland, by the spring, mayhap, with eyes of joy, again he bends to set a rabbit trap, a brown-faced boy. Then, whistling through the underwoods he goes, out of the wood, where, with young cheeks red as an autumn rose, in gingham hood, his sweetheart waits, her school-books on her arm, and now it seems, beside his chair bends down his wife's fair form, the old man dreams. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Memories by Madison Cawein. Read for LibriVox.org by honeybeesmeadow. Here where love lies perished, look not in upon the dead, lest the shadowy curtains, shaken, in my heart's dark chamber waken, ghosts, beneath whose garb of sorrow, whilom gladness bows his head. When you come at morn to-morrow, look not in upon the dead, here where love lies perished. Here where love lies cold interred, let no syllable be heard, lest the hollow echoes, housing in my soul's deep tomb, arousing, wake a voice of woe, once laughter, claimed and clothed in joy's own word. When you come at dusk or after, let no syllable be heard, here where love lies cold interred. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
March and May by Madison Cawein. Read for LibriVox.org by Avalon K. Windy the sky and mad, surly the gray March day, bleak the forests and sad, oh, that it only were May! On maples tasseled with red, no blithe bird fluting swung, the brook in its swollen bed raved on in an unknown tongue. We walked in the wind-tossed wood, her face as the May's was fair, her blood was the May's own blood, and May's her radiant hair. And we found in the woodland wild one cowering violet, like a frail and timorous child, in the caked leaves bowed and wet. And I said, we have walked in vain to find but this shivering bud, weighed down with its weight of rain, crouched here in the wild March wood. But she said, though the day be sad, and the skies be dark with fate, there is always something glad that will help our hearts to wait. Look now at this beautiful thing, in this wood's wild hollow curled. 'Tis a promise of joy in spring, and of love to the waiting world. Ah, the sinless earth is fair, and man's are the sin and the gloom. Come, bury the days that were, and look toward the days to come. And the May came on with her charms, with twinkle and rustle of feet. Bloom stormed from her luminous arms, and songs that were wildly sweet. Now I think of her words that day, this day that I longed so to see, that finds her dead with the May, and my life but a withered tree. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
In Autumn by Madison Cawein. Read for LibriVox.org by Heather Heiss. Sunflowers wither and lilies die. Poppies are pods of seeds. The first red leaves on the pathway lie, like blood of a heart that bleeds. Weary alway will it be today, weary and wan and wet. Dawn and noon will the clouds hang gray, and the autumn wind will sigh and say, He comes not yet, not yet. Weary alway, alway. Hollyhocks bend all tattered and torn, marigolds all are gone. The last pale rose lies all forlorn, like love that is trampled on. Weary, ah me, tonight will be, weary and wild and hoar. Rain and mist will blow from the sea, and the wind will sob in the autumn tree. He comes no more, no more. Weary, ah me, ah me. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
When She Draws Near by Madison Cawein. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonali. When she draws near, I seem to hear the shy approach of some wild innocence, as if, in a corn crown, a dryad should step down from some dim oak tree where the woods are dense. When she's with me, I seem to see the brambles blossom where just touched her dress, as, with her love's perfume, she touches into bloom the thorns of life and gives them loveliness. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Read Call for April. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Lawley. Read Call for April. When April comes and pelts with buds, and apple blooms each orchard space, and takes the dotwood, whitened woods, with rain and sunshine of her moods, like your fair face, like your sweet face. It's honey for the bud and dew, and honey for the heart, and oh, to be away with you, beyond the town and mart. When April comes and tints the hills with gold and pearl that rejoice, and from her airy apron spills the laughter of the winds and rills, like your young voice, like your sweet voice. It's gladness for God's bending blue, and gladness for the heart, and oh, to be away with you, beyond the town and mart. When April comes and binds and girds the world with warmth that breathes above, and to the breeze flings all her birds, whose songs are welcome as the words of you I love, oh you I love. It's music for all things that woe, and music for the heart, and oh, to be away with you, beyond the town and mart. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Her Violin. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Lawley. Her violin. Her violin again begin the dream notes of her violin, and tall and fair, with gold brown hair. I seem to see her standing there, soft-eyed and sweetly slender. The room again, with strain on strain, vibrates the love's melodious pain, as sloping slow is poised her bow, while round her form the golden glow of sunset spills its splendour. Her violin, now deep, now thin, again I hear her violin, and, dream by dream, again I seem to see the love light's tender gleam beneath her eyes' long lashes, while to my heart she seems a part of her pure song's inspired art, and as she plays the rosy grays of twilight halo, hair and face, while sunset burns to ashes. O violin, cease, cease within my soul, O haunting violin, in vain you bring again back from the past the blissful pain of all the love then spoken, when on my breast, at happy rest, a sunny while her head was pressed. Peace, peace to these wild memories, for, like my heart, naught remedies. Her violin lies broken.
End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Meeting in Summer by Madison Cawein. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. A tranquil bar of rosy twilight under dusk's first star, a glimmering sound of whispering waters over grassy ground, a sun-sweet smell of fresh-reaped hay from dewy field and dell, a lazy breeze jostling the ripeness from the apple trees, a vibrant cry, passing then gone, of bullbats in the sky, and faintly now the katydid upon the shadowy bough, and far off then the little owl within the lonely glen, and soon, full soon, the silvery arrival of the moon, and to your door the path of roses I have trod before, and sweetheart, you among the roses and the moonlit dew.
End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Her Vivien Eyes by Madison Cawein. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. Her Vivien eyes, beware, beware! Though they be stars, a deadly snare they set beneath her night of hair. Regard them not, lest drawing near, as sages once in old Chaldee, thou shouldst become a worshipper, and they thy evil destiny. Her Vivien eyes, away, away! Though they be springs, remorseless they gleam underneath her brow's bright day. Turn, turn aside, whate'er the cost, lest in their deeps thou lures behold, through which thy captive soul were lost, as was young Hylas once of old. Her Vivien eyes, take heed, take heed! Though they be Bibles, none may read therein of God or holy creed. Look, look away, lest thou be cursed, as Merlin was, romances tell, and in their sorcerous spells immersed, hoping for heaven thou chance on hell.
End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Reasons by Madison Cawein. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. Yea, why I love thee, let my heart repeat. I look upon thy face and then divine how men could die for beauty such as thine, deeming it sweet to lay my life and manhood at thy feet, and for a word, a glance, do deeds of old romance. Yea, why I love thee, let my heart unfold. I look into thy heart and then I know the wondrous poetry of the long ago, the age of gold that speaks strange music, that is old, so old, yet young as when 'twas born, with all the youth of morn. Yea, why I love thee, let my heart conclude. I look into thy soul and realize the undiscovered meaning of the skies, that long have wooed the world with far ideals that elude, out of whose dreams, maybe, God shapes reality.
End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Her Vesper Song by Madison Cawein. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonali. The summer lightning comes and goes in one white cloud above the hill, as if within its soft repose a burning heart were never still, as in my bosom pulses beat before the coming of his feet. All drugged with odorous sleep the rose breathes dewy balm about the place, as if the dreams the garden knows arose in immaterial grace, as in my heart sweet thoughts arise beneath the ardor of his eyes. The moon above the darkness shows an orb of silvery snow and fire, as if the night would now disclose to heaven her one divine desire, as in the rapture of his kiss all my glad soul is drawn to his. The cloud divines not that it glows, the rose knows nothing of its scent, nor knows the moon that it bestows light on our earth and firmament. So is the soul unconscious of the beauties it reveals through love. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Glory and the Dream by Madison Cawein. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonali. There in the past I see her as of old, blue-eyed and hazel-haired, within a room, dim with a twilight of tenebrious gold, her white face sensuous as a delicate bloom. Night opens in the tropics, fold on fold. Pale laces drape her, and a frail perfume, as of a moonlit lily brimmed with rain, breathes from her presence, drowsing heart and brain. Her head is bent, some red carnations glow, deep in her heavy hair, her large eyes gleam, bright sister stars of those twin worlds of snow, her breasts through which the veined violets stream. I hold her hand, her smile comes sweetly slow, as thoughts of love that haunt a poet's dream, and at her feet once more I sit and hear wild words of passion, dead this many a year. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Snow and Fire by Madison Cawein. Read for LibriVox.org by Emma Waham. Deep-hearted roses of the purple dusk and lilies of the morn, and cactus holding up a slender tusk of fragrance on a thorn, all heavy flowers sultry with their musk, her presence puts to scorn.
For she is like the pale, pale snowdrop there, scentless and chaste of heart. The moonflower making spiritual the air, like some pure work of art, divine and holy, exquisitely fair, and virtue's counterpart. Yet when her eyes gaze into mine, and when her lips to mine are pressed, why are my veins all fire then? And then why should her soul suggest voluptuous perfumes maddening unto men, and prurient with unrest? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. In May by Madison Cawein. Read for LibriVox.org by Emma Wham. When you and I in the hills went maying, you and I in the bright May weather, the birds that sang on the boughs together, there in the green of the woods kept saying all that my heart was saying low, I love you, soft and low. And did you know, when you and I in the hills went maying, there where the brook on its rocks went winking, there by its banks where the May had led us, flowers that bloomed in the woods and meadows, azure and gold at our feet, kept thinking all that my soul was thinking there, I love you, softly there. And did you care? There where the brook on its rocks went winking. Whatever befalls through fate's compelling, should our paths unite or our pathways sever, in the Mays to come I shall feel forever the wildflowers thinking, the wild birds telling, in words as soft as the falling dew, the love that I keep here still for you, as deep and true, whatever befalls, through fate's compelling. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Were I an Artist by Madison Cawein. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonali. Were I an artist, Lydia, I would paint you as you merit, not as my eyes but dreams descry, not in the flesh but spirit. The canvas I would paint you on should be a strip of heaven, my brush a sunbeam, pigments dawn, and night and starry even. Your form and features to express, likewise your soul's chaste whiteness, I would take the primal essences of darkness and of brightness. I would take pure night to paint your hair, stars for your eyes in morning, to paint your skin the rosy air, which is your limbs adorning. To paint the love bows of your lips, I would mix for colors kisses, and for your breasts and fingertips sweet odors and soft blisses. And to complete the picture well, I would temper all with woman, some tears, some laughter, heaven and hell, to show you yet are human. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Ride by Madison Cawein. Read for LibriVox.org by Heather Heiss. She rode over hill, she rode o'er plain, she rode by fields of barley, by morning glories filled with rain, along the woodside gnarly. She rode o'er plain, she rode o'er hill, by orchard land and berry. Her eyes were sparkling as the rill, cheeks redder than the cherry. A bird sang here, a bird sang there, then blithely sang together, sang sudden greeting everywhere, good morrow and good weather. The sunlight's laughing radiance laughed in her radiant tresses. The bold breeze made her wild curls dance and flushed her face with kisses. Why ride you here? Why ride you there? Why ride you here so merry? The sunlight living in your hair, and in your cheek the berry. Why ride you with your sea-green plumes, your sea-green silken habit, by balmy bosks of faint perfumes, and haunts of roe and rabbit? The morning ploughed the east with gold, and planted it with holly, and I was young, and he was old, and rich and melancholy. A wife they'd have me to his bed, and to the church they hurried, but now, gramercy, he is dead, thank God, is dead and buried. I ride by tree, I ride by rill, I ride by rye and clover, for by the church beyond the hill awaits my first true lover. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
At Parting by Madison Cawein, read for LibriVox.org by Harira Millicent. What is there left for us to say? Now it is time to speak goodbye, and all our dreams of yesterday are one with yester evening sky. What is there left for us to say? Now different ways before us lie. A word of hope, a word of cheer, a word of love whose help shall last, when we are far, to bring us near through memories of the happy past. A word of hope, a word of cheer, to keep our young hearts true and fast. What is there left for us to do? Now it is time to say farewell, and care that bade us once adieu returns again with us to dwell. What is there left for us to do? Now different ways our fates compel, clasp hands and kiss, touch lips and smile, and look the love that shall remain, when severed so by many a mile, the sweetest balm for bitterest pain. Clasp hands and kiss, touch lips and smile, and trust to God to meet again. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
In the Garden of Girls by Madison Cawein, read for LibriVox.org by Kyle Johnson. Serious but smiling, stately and serene, and lovelier than a flower she stands, in whom all sympathies convene as perfumes in a bower, through whom I feel what soul and heart must mean, and all their love and power. Eyes that commune with the frank skies of truth beneath their cloud-like curls, lips of immortal rose, where joy and youth nestle like priceless pearls, hair that suggests the Bible braids of Ruth deeper than any girl's. When first I saw her, 'twas as if within my gaze took shape some song played by a master of the violin, a music pure and strong that wrapped my soul above all earthly sin to heights that know no wrong. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Come to the Hills by Madison Cawein, read for LibriVox.org by Harira Millicent. Come to the hills, the woods are green, the heart is high when lovers meet. There is a brook that flows between mast rocks where we will make our seat, where we will sit and speak unseen. I hear you laughing in the lane. The heart is high when lovers meet. The clover smells of sun and rain, and spreads a carpet for our feet, where we will walk and dream again. Come to the woods, the dusk is here, the heart is high when lovers meet. A bird upon the branches near, sets music to our heart's sweet beat, our hearts that beat with something dear. I hear your step, the lane is past, the heart is high when lovers meet. The little stars come bright and fast, like happy eyes that watches sweet, that see us greet and kiss at last. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Evasion. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Lawley. Evasion. Why do I love you, who have never given my heart encouragement, or any cause? Is it because as earth is held of heaven, your soul holds mine by some mysterious laws? Perhaps unseen of me, within your eyes the answer lies. From your sweet lips no word hath ever fallen to tell my heart its love is not in vain. The bee that woos the flower hath honey and pollen to cheer him on and bring him back again. But what have I, your other friends above, to feed my love? Still you are my dream and my desire. Your love is an allurement and a dare, set for attainment like a shining spire, far, far above me in the starry air, and gazing upward 'gainst the hope of hope, I breast the slope.
End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Will You Forget by Madison Cawein. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonali. In years to come, will you forget, dear girl, how often we have met? And I have gazed into your eyes, and there beheld no sad regret to cloud the gladness of their skies, while in your heart, unheard as yet, love slept, oblivious of my sighs. In years to come, will you forget? Ah me, I only pray that when, in other days, some man of men has taught those eyes to laugh and weep, with joy and sorrow hearts must ken, when love awakens in their deep. I only pray some memory then, or sad or sweet, you still will keep, of me and love that might have been. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Contrasts by Madison Cawein. Read for LibriVox.org by Winnifred Assmann. No eve of summer ever can attain the gladness of that eve of late July, when mid the roses, dripping with the rain, against the wondrous topaz of the sky, I met you leaning on the pasture bars, while heaven and earth grew conscious of the stars. No night of blackest winter can repeat the bitterness of that December night, when at your gate, grey glittering with sleet, within the glimmering square of window light, we parted. Long you clung unto my arm, while heaven and earth surrendered to the storm. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Carissima Mea by Madison Cawein. Read for LibriVox.org by Kyle Johnson. I look upon my sweetheart's face, and in the world about me see no face like hers in any place. It is not made, as others sing of their young loves, like ivory, but like a wild rose in the spring. Her brow is low and very fair, and o'er it smooth and shadowy lies deep the darkness of her hair. Beneath her brows her eyes gleam gray, and gaze out glad and fearlessly. Their wonder haunts me night and day. Her eyebrows, arched and delicate, twin curves of penciled ebony, within their spans contain my fate. Her mouth, that was for kisses curved, so small and sweet, it well may be that it for me is yet reserved. Between her hair and rounded chin, calm with her soul's calm purity, there lies no shadow of a sin. Of perfect form she is not tall, just higher than the heart of me, o'er which I place her all in all. She is not shaped, as some have sung of their young loves, like some slim tree, but like the moon when it is young. Her hands, that smell of violet, so white and fashioned fragrantly, have woven round my heart a net. Yea, I have loved her many a day, and though for me she may not be, still at her feet my love I lay. Albeit she be not for me, God send her grace and grant that she know naught of sorrow all her days, and help me still to sing her praise. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
An Autumn Night by Madison Cawein, read for LibriVox.org. Some things are good on autumn nights, when with the storm the forest fights, and in the room the heaped hearth lights, old-fashioned press and rafter, plump chestnuts hissing in the heat, a mug of cider sharp and sweet, and at your side a face petite with lips of laughter. Upon the roof the rolling rain, and tapping at the window pane, the wind that seems a witch's cane, that summons spells together. A hand within your own awhile, a mouth reflecting back your smile, and eyes, two stars, whose beams exile all thoughts of weather. And while the wind lulls, still to sit and watch her fire-lit needles flit a-knitting, and to feel her knit your very heartstrings in it. Then when the old clock ticks, it is late, to rise, and at the door to wait 2 words, or at the garden gate, a kissing minute. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. A Daughter of States by Madison Cawein, read for LibriVox.org. She has the eyes of some barbarian queen, leading her wild tribes into battle, eyes wherein the unconquerable soul defies, and love sits throned, imperious and serene. And I have thought that liberty, alone among her mountain stars, might look like her, kneeling to God, her only emperor, kindling her torch on freedom's altar stone. For in herself, regal with riches of beauty and youth, again those queens seem born, Boadicea, meeting scorn with scorn, and Ermengarde, returning love for love. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Quarrel by Madison Cawein, read for LibriVox.org. An instant only, and her eyes flashed lightning like the angry skies, and o'er her forehead curving down fell dark the shadow of a frown. Then backward, deep and stormy fair, she tossed the tempest of her hair. Then of her lips, full rose disdain, made a pink folded bud again. Then quicker than all utterance, all changed, and at a word, a glance. Her anger rained its tears, then passed, and she was in my arms at last, the austere woman doubly dear, and lovelier for each falling tear. But why we quarrelled, how it grew, I cannot tell, I never knew. Perhaps 'twas love, he who with tears would show how fair a face appears, as after storm the sky's more blue, a wildflower's fairer for the dew. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Miriam by Madison Cawein. Read for LibriVox.org by Kevin S. What better praise for all her ways than that all days her ways illume such brightness as the maiden year knows when God's kindness seems as near as flowers whose wisdom's but to bloom. Hers the deep hair, a face more fair than roses June sets blossoming. The sunshine of her gladness gleams in bloom-bright lips and cheeks, and dreams upon her throat's soft coloring. Her voice is sweet as birds that greet with song the coming of the light. The serious happy gleam that lies in the dark luster of her eyes is as the starlight to the night. Beyond the sea such girls as she it was whom Titian loved to paint, with calm Madonna eyes, and hair rich auburn, robed in gold, and fair as the vision of a saint. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Summer Sea by Madison Cawein. Read for LibriVox.org by Kevin S. Over the summer sea, when the white-eyed stars look pale, and the moonbeams make a trail of gold through the waves for me, I turn my ghostly sail away, away, and follow the form I see over the summer sea. Over the misty sea, ere the cliff which highest soars from the billow-beaten shores reddens all rosily, where the witch white water roars, far on, through the foam she beckons me over the summer sea. Over the haunted sea, when the great gold moon low lies on the rim of the western skies, twixt the moon she comes and me, and gazes in my eyes, low down, twixt the orbed moon and me, over the summer sea. Deep in the bitter sea, wilt thou drag me down, O sweet, down, down from hair to feet, filled with thee utterly, against thy heart's wild beat? At last, wilt drag me down with thee, deep in the summer sea? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Finale by Madison Cawein. Read for LibriVox.org by Kevin S. So let it be, thou dare not say 'twas I. Here in life's temple, where thy soul can see, look where the beauty of our love doth lie, shattered in shards, a dead divinity. Approach, kneel down, yea, render up one sigh. This is the end. What need to tell it thee? So let it be. So let it be. Care, who hath stood with him, and sorrow, who sat by him deified, for whom his face made comfort, lo, how dim they heap his altar, which they cannot hide, while memory's lamp swings o'er it, burning slim. This is the end. What shall be said beside? So let it be. So let it be. Did we not drain the wine, red of love's sacramental chalice, when he laid sweet sanction on thy lips and mine? Dash it aside. Lo, who will fill again? Now it is empty of the God divine. This is the end. This is the end. Yea, let us say Amen. So let it be. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Conclusion by Madison Cawein. Read for LibriVox.org by Kevin S. The songs love sang to us are dead, yet shall he sing to us again when the dull days are wrapped in lead, and the red woodland drips with rain. The lily of our love is gone, that graced our spring with golden scent. Now in the garden low, upon the wind-stripped way, its stalk is bent. Our rose of dreams is passed away, that lit our summer with sweet fire. The storm beats bare each thorny spray, and its dead leaves are trod in mire. The songs love sang to us are dead, yet shall he sing to us again, when the dull days are wrapped in lead, and the red woodland drips with rain. The marigold of memory shall fill our autumn then with glow. Haply its bitterness will be sweeter for love of long ago. The cypress of forgetfulness shall haunt our winter with its yew, its apathy to us not less dear for the dreams love's summer knew. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. End of the poems of Madison Cawein, Volume 2.